Spanking is trending again. FAFO parenting is all over TikTok. And gentle parenting, well, they have both a fan club and haters. And in the middle of it all, the rest of us are just trying to keep our kids alive until bedtime without losing our religion. This isn't a parenting lecture. This is about what's actually happening in homes right now. The real chaotic human versions of parenting. You know, the stuff that everybody's whispering about at pickup. I'm Kristin. I have a 12-year-old who negotiates bedtime like she's on Shark Tank, and an 8-year-old who thinks that rules are mostly just suggestions. And I'm also an educator who works with children with behavioral challenges, so I see this stuff from both sides. The parent who's trying to stay calm and the teacher who's trying to adapt. So if you've ever wondered, am I doing the right thing, or is there even a right thing? This video is for you.
Whoop y'all's kids. I don't care. I do not care. Do not come at me with giving your kids a spanking is child abuse bullshit. If you are in Walmart and your kid is in the buggy yelling at you, screaming at the top of their lungs, knocking shit off the shelves, throwing shit out of the buggy, if y'all don't whoop their ass, I swear for God.
Okay, Ashley, we hear you loud and clear, and it is obvious that she is not alone in her thinking. When you looked at those comments, it is a similar sentiment, and you could tell that she's passionate about raising well-behaved children. Now, other modern parents, they point to some research that tells a different story.
People say spanking works, and sure, it trains the kid not to do something because it's behavioral conditioning. If you touch a hot stove, it hurts. You're not going to touch a hot stove again. But I always say it comes at collateral damage. And here's some research on this. Kids who are spanked have the same frontal lobe activation. Frontal lobe is in charge of your attentional systems, as somebody who's severely abused. That means that they're being conditioned to be in a fear response all the time, and they develop a hypervigilance. They're not able to be in the present moment because they're constantly on guard.
As you can see, that's a pretty big divide when it comes to spanking. And I was curious, how many parents still spank today? I dug up some research. Turns out in 1993, 50% of parents were still spanking their kids. Fast forward to 2017, so again, this is still a few years ago, it's down to 35%. So yes, it is trending down, but it's still pretty common. So I'm curious, were you spanked as a child? And how, if at all, did that change the way that you parent your own children? Now, this discipline strategy might be the hottest topic on Mom Talk right now. FAFO parenting. And yes, it stands for exactly what you think it does. Have you ever tried this technique? I mean, it sounds like it builds a whole bunch of independence and problem-solving skills, but I can also see parents using it in unsafe situations, like letting their kid climb up something really high and they fall. There's a big difference between letting your child have a little extra salt on their fry and a broken arm. And for most of us, this doesn't even sound like revolutionary parenting. Listen to this.
Sounds edgy, revolutionary even, except at its best, it's just a PR rebrand of gentle parenting and logical consequences. And at its worst, it's literally neglect. FAFO at its best, your kid doesn't want to wear a jacket and you don't make them. They find out for themselves that it is cold outside. This is just gentle parenting with logical consequences. The consequence being that they are now cold. FAFO parenting at its worst, your kid is doing something dangerous and you think, F around and find out, and end up at the hospital.
I have definitely practiced this countless times and it works. I'll tell you more about that coming up. And now for the most talked about parenting style out there today, gentle parenting. I think this parody might make you laugh.
Excuse me, your kid's kicking my seat.
Tatum Channing, can you show me gentle feet? Gentle feet like we're at the pool?
Okay, he's still kicking my seat though.
Okay, but he's doing gentle feet. So let's try to encourage that positive action.
I'm nauseous. Ma'am, your son is swinging from the oxygen masks.
Oh, he's just exploring his environment. Stay curious, buddy. Stay curious.
To whoever's kid has been screaming for 3 hours nonstop, I'm literally about to crash this plane.
Please crash it. Well, maybe if you all tried leading with empathy.
Ma'am, respectfully, shut up.
It's okay, buddy. I think the pilot is having a really big feeling.
Maybe this made you giggle. Maybe it stirred up some defensiveness inside because you identify with the parent, not on an extreme level, but on the idea that kids are kids. They're not little robots. They have emotions and feelings too. But then, as you can see from the comments, there are a lot of people who think that gentle parenting is really just permissive parenting, which we know from literature is not good for raising a child with. But there are a lot of other people that think that the people practicing gentle parenting, follow me here, are like misguided, that they're doing permissive parenting and there's nothing wrong with gentle parenting. So where do you fall in the gentle parenting debate? It's probably the biggest debate for parents today, millennial parents. It's a debate that really just happens mostly online, but isn't that where most debates happen? And let's wrap this up with what most parents are actually doing.
Roller coaster of emotions you go through in a single 24 hours is mind-blowing. I wake up every single morning grateful and thankful for seeing their little faces one more day, and then in the morning chaos of getting ready for school, I am triggered 20,000 times. Then I drop them off at school, I miss them all day, I'm eager to pick them up and seeing their little faces, their little smiles, and then I'm overstimulated, I'm rushing them to put them down to bed, then I start crying because I feel like I fell short with them, I feel like I could have been so much better, and it is just a mind fuck. We just keep waking up every single morning to kisses and hugs, and we try again.
Yep. That about sums it up. Parenting is hard and discipline is on display like never before. So if parenting feels complicating, it's because it is. So whether you were spanked as a child or you practice spanking or you practice FAFO or FAFO, wherever you say it, parenting, or you're a gentle parenting, or you're a hybrid of all of them, you are welcome here on The Village, because this channel isn't about telling you how to parent. It's about parents coming together and trying to build a community, because those things have disappeared in our modern world, where we can discuss what's working and what's not, because I am not in your home and you are not in mine. But we do have some research that we like to discuss so that we can make educated decisions. So if this sounds like something that's in your lane, hit the subscribe and I will see you soon. Bye. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I promised you a FAFO story, so here it is. My youngest, if he could video game all day, all night, he would. He can't, but if he could, he would. Well, one day, a few years ago, let's say he was about 5, he was playing video games in the other room, and I heard him going, "They're cheating, they're hacking." And if you know, you know. He's getting frustrated. He's losing. He doesn't think he should be losing. How are these people that good? It must be that they're cheating. So I walk in and I go, "Hey, bud, it looks like this isn't much fun right now. Video games are meant to be fun. And based on this, doesn't look like you're having much fun." And he assures me that he's good. I walk out. And so from the other room, I hear it escalating. I start to think to myself, we may be turning a corner. I might have to go in there. He might throw the controller. It felt like it was getting to that point. And I go, "It looks like you need my help to help yourself. So I'm going to have us take a break from the video games and we can come back to it in a little bit." Well, he doesn't like that, as kids don't like that. And he sends himself to his room. All right. He goes in his room, he shuts his door, and I start to hear noises. What is going on in his room? So I turn on the camera, the monitor, and I see that he is picking up his stuffed animals and he's throwing them around the room. I laugh a little bit because you picked the most gentle little items to throw around. There is nothing dangerous about this. It's adorable, actually. So I lean in and I'm like, hey, it looks like you're having a hard time. Hard times happen sometimes. I'm here if you need me. He doesn't really want my help, and so I walk out. I do a few more check-ins. Now he's escalating in his room, right? Because throwing around the stuffed animals, he's already done enough. So now he's ripping the sheets off of his bed. All right, still not a problem. And so after a little bit of time, the anger starts to turn into tears. And that's how I know we're crossing over. And so one time when I go in, he's sitting there crying with a mess around him. And I was like, do you need a hug? He was like, yeah. So I go in, I give him a hug, I sit down on the floor. And this is the moment where I feel, I told you this isn't a parenting lecture, but this is like the end. So if you're still here with me, I'm going to say the stuff that I've learned as an educator. This is the part where I think parents miss out and they throw away all their hard work. At this moment, if I sit down with him in the room and I accuse him, look what you did, I become the enemy. And instead, this is his consequence that he gave himself. So I sit with him and I just look around. And I'm like, whoa, you had some really big feelings. And sometimes when we have big feelings, we take all that energy and we put it out. And in some cases, it makes a big mess. This is a lot of stuff. Just noticing. And then he's slowly realizing, oh my gosh, look what I did. Long story short, he did clean up his room. Not every day in parenting is a win, but that one was. And to this day, he still remembers, and he has not destroyed his room since. So even though it took a total of, gosh darn it, like a whole 3 hours, I want to say, start to finish, it was a long thing. I was not the bad guy, so he remembers it and he feels responsible for his own actions and he doesn't destroy anything anymore. So I hope that you have a win today.